Hi, my name is Brian Breslin from Miami, Florida, and we're here in Mexico City, and we're interviewing startups and entrepreneurs and all that. And we've got Joel.
Yep.
Joel, want to introduce yourself?
My name is Joel Franusic. I'm from San Francisco, and I work for a startup called Twilio.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Twilio, or what you do at Twilio?
Mm-hmm. So at Twilio, I'm a developer evangelist, which is it's a role that basically my job is to travel to events, meet people, and really just help them out, just in general, but in specific with Twilio. So a great event for me would be to show up somewhere where people are working on Python and just helping people out on their projects, maybe helping them out with Python, helping them debug. And then if there's people there that want to do telephony stuff, then I would love to help them out with that too.
Cool. So what's the event that brought you here to Mexico City?
So I'm here for an event called Startup Weekend in Mexico City, and it's their third event.
Okay,
so
cool.
The Twitter hashtag is SWDF.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So everyone knows what to follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
So Twilio, though, isn't in Mexico yet, right?
No.
That's the new term or short term?
It's something that we're actively working on
Okay.
building a presence in Mexico. So you can make calls through Twilio into Mexico, but what we don't have is numbers inside of Mexico. So whenever
Okay.
you're using Twilio to connect with Mexicans, you're having to do it from numbers that are out of the country, and therefore paying the long distance rates
Right.
for those calls and SMSs.
Okay, cool. So have you met any promising startups here in Mexico City that you think could be the next big thing to come out of here? Or?
So I haven't met any that are already, well, so there's a couple of startups that I've met through that are incubated by an organization called Mexican.vc.
Okay.
One of the ones that comes to mind is a startup called Newflick, which they're taking a lot of the video that's made in Latin America for the Latin American audience and making it available online.
Okay.
And that is something that I didn't even realize that there was a market for that, and it turns out it's a huge market, and that it's the distributors for this content are just now starting to think about doing the equivalent of like a Hulu or a YouTube for Latin America, and that's what Newflick is working on.
Cool. So since your area of expertise is telephony, what can you tell us about mobile adoption and stuff like that here in Latin America or in these emerging markets?
I mean, just in general, most emerging markets have really high adoption for mobile phones. Okay. So, traditional landline phones were not as accessible to people who might not even have electricity in their home. But with a mobile phone, you don't even need to have electricity in your home. You can go to a friend's house, go to your work, and charge the phone there, and then bring it home. And so, mobile adoption is just ridiculous, and almost every emerging market in Mexico is no exception.
Cool. So what kinds of things does Twilio do to engage with the startup communities around the world?
The biggest thing that we do is like I was saying earlier, just doing what I do as a job is like being present in the community, and being there to help people out, and so what that looks like is going to hackathons, helping sponsor hackathons, actually helping at the actual hackathon itself, helping organize them, and then participating. So actually being part of these communities. And it's the great thing about being a platform company like Twilio is we make our money when other people make money.
Right.
So the incentives are aligned perfectly where I don't have to worry about is the thing that I'm doing going to cause the company profit? The answer is yes. As long as people understand that we're there to help. I don't have to worry about should I be spending an hour here helping this non-telephony project, or
Sure.
Of course I am, because I want people to know that what's the most important to us is our customers, and our developers in particular.
So since we're from Miami, I have a Miami related question. So a few years back, this was about a year ago, I remember reading that Miami had the highest per capita usage of mobile phones in the US. Most text messages sent and minutes used per month.
Wow.
So what do you think of in the future doing participating in some sort of hackathon or startup event or something like that?
No, that sounds, I
I mean, we already have the installed base of people who love
No,
to use
no,
their phones.
and we have a lot of experience putting on these events, and my biggest concern is how do we build events that benefit the community that's
Sure,
there,
sure.
and that's really what I'm interested in.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I guess the last question I'll ask you is, what do you think is sort of the key ingredient for the hackers, like the local hackers, that they need to get involved with building on APIs and stuff like that, like Twilio?
So what is like the question is like
how do they get started?
How do you get started? So
Yeah.
with any API, just in general, it's good to read through the documentation. You want to look for sample code. I think just any API in general, try and run the sample code itself. Just get the hello world equivalent.
Sure.
What does it take to do the most simple thing you can on that API? For Twilio in specific, we have a lot of documentation, a lot of how-tos, and it's really more based on what you're comfortable with as a developer. But I think going to the Twilio website, clicking on Docs
Sure.
is a great place to start. Another thing to do would be to email help@Twilio, and we have an amazing team of people that supports customers day in, day out, and they handle all types of questions. And so the question you have isn't going to be something that we're unfamiliar with or that we're not going to want to answer. We love helping our customers.
Cool. So on that note, do you is there documentation and all that in the local languages for people in Latin America or emerging markets like in Spanish and Portuguese to get ramped up?
So for the specific markets, we only have our documentation in English right now. But because all of our libraries to connect to our API are all open sourced, we love to have people translate things into their own local language, write blog posts in their own local language, and so that's something that we definitely support and encourage, and are excited to see that when people actually do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I can't think of anything else. So thanks for spending some time with us, Joel.
Thank you.
And we hope you have an awesome time here in Mexico City.
I'm already having an awesome time.
Cool.
So,
All right,
yeah.
thanks a lot.
Not a problem.